Okay, so we've just put in a lead track. Let's put in some other parts to accompany that. Press on the plus button there, and yeah, why don't we just use another synthesizer for now? So let's try another Alchemy synth. This time we will just go directly to the settings to select the sound, which is here. Go into the sounds, and what you'll notice is that here you've got all these different types of sound, but it's also got a thing called main categories at the top. Now, by default, it opens allowing you to select sounds from the Alchemy synthesizer plugin, which ships with Logic, and it comes with GarageBand for iOS as well. It's an amazing synthesizer. It's almost a little bit too sort of whizzy at times. But if you don't want to use these specific sounds and you just want to use other things, either on your phone or the other ones that ship with the app, go into main categories. And what it gives you there, so it's taken you back a screen to Alchemy Synth, and these are all the ones that we were just looking at. But what you've also got is Synth Classics, Synth Bass, Leads, Pads, FX, and Other. And in here are some pretty convincing sort of modellings of other classic synthesizer sounds. So we've got a kind of plucky sound going on at the moment. We want something a bit kind of bassy. So, gosh, I don't know, let's try soft analog. Let's see what happens there. You see the screen changes, it turns it into a little wooden frame thing to make it look like an old Moog or something, and let's see what that sounds like. Okay, let's put my little scaler thing on there to make sure that we're in the right scale. That's not a bad sound actually, that's quite mellow. This is going to be a very simple bass line, so let's just record something in quickly. Actually, I'm not quite sure that goes, so let me reverse that. You see I'm using the little undo button up the top there. And let's try a different idea. There we go. That was just, again, the first thing that popped into my head. So let's go and see how that looks. Whoops, wrong one. Main sequencer window, there we are. And again, you probably can't see that, but there is a load of little white dots on there. I will quantize this straight away because I know that it's not quite in time everywhere, so double click on it, settings, quantization, there we go, 1/16. And now if we listen back to it, it should sound nice and tight against the metronome. You get the idea. Now that plucked synth sound is quite harsh, so I'm going to just wind the volume back a little bit on that, just so it doesn't get annoying and obnoxious. Yeah, okay. And because I'm in the mood for it, let's put some effects on here. You remember that you can get into the effects plugin screen from here. If you click on the settings again and scroll down, you've got your bass treble compressor, but you've also got echo and reverb down there, remember? If you try that, and again we'll solo this with the little yellow headphones so that all you can hear is the plucked sound. And let's show you how the echo goes. Okay, that's not bad, but because the rhythm of the notes is very much on the beat, the echo and delay sound actually just kind of clutters it a little bit, so that's not that helpful. But reverb, echo works really well with syncopated notes which don't fall straight on the beat. It just sounds a little bit less cluttered and gives it a slightly more sort of funky feel. But let's try it with some reverb and see how that sounds. That sounds better. So I'll leave that in there, having turned it down a bit as well. Let's come out of that screen. And why don't we put on yet another synthesizer, because we're going to come on to some of the other instruments in a moment, but let's just put another keyboard sound on there to start with. And this time I'll demonstrate how the chords work. So let's go to settings, let's try and find something a bit more interesting. Let's try a rhythmic one this time. Bass ones are all a bit annoying, but let's try, I don't know if that's any good, pulsing dream pad. Yeah, that's not too bad. Now, we had our scale setting here, but you can also use the chord one. Now, this is very cool. It's very handy. And what it does is it creates automatic chords for you in the key that you're in. So I will try something very simple and very cheesy on this, and we'll see what we come up with. Now, one of those notes was wrong, and it's actually going to be easier because it's literally just pressing one button. It's actually easier to delete that and just do it again. So double click on there and delete. There you go, takes you out of there. So go back up to the keyboard setting, take you back to where you were before, and let's try again. So there's definitely some notes that don't quite fit in there in the lead line up against those chords, but we'll come back to that a bit later on. So for now, let's just quantize that so that it's all happy and playing nicely with all the other notes in time, and that's basically how you record some simple keyboard parts.